Hello, everyone. How are we doing this evening?
Hello, everyone. How are we doing this evening?
Gotta fix that.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing this evening? Gotta fix that.
There. Hopefully you're not experiencing an endless loop now. How you doing, Cliff? Yes, get out of Walmart. Guy Booty Piper, good to see you. Cogs and Sprockets. Paul the Piper, how are you doing, Paul? Hope all is well with you. Bona Piper, good to see you. Looks a bit like oh, because of all the masks, I guess. Yeah. Road King Piper, how's it going? Boris the Piper. I lost my tamper. There it is. Desert Pine Piper, Pipe John, the Artful Codger, Yardism. Good to see all you guys. Spoken Kentucky Piper. Chris 62154, Piano Piper. Great to see all you guys showing up. Seems like the notifications might be working again, which is good news. I just realized I did not attach my microphone. How is the audio, guys? Well, maybe I'll just leave it like that then, rather than mess around with it. Let me know if it goes bad. Thank you, WKR Piper. Good to see you. Kilted Piper Steve, hello. We're glad you could stop in for as long as you can, buddy. Armchair Piper has posted his first YTPC video. So for goodness sakes, let's all make sure we go and check out Armchair Piper. And I will write that down and try to put it in the description as well. He says, not knowing if he has a pencil. There we go. Yeah, this is, I think we're going to start seeing a lot more new guys pop up, and that's great. You know, we want to certainly support that and make these guys feel welcome. So if you're not subscribed to Ghost Cobb's channel for his Fine Five Friday, go to Ghost Cobb's channel and subscribe. I do an occasional shout out when you see folks in the live chats, whether it's this live chat or any other. Go to their channels and give them a sub. It's important that we continue to build this community, especially in a time like this. So before I get too carried away, it's a Hercules, and what I have tonight is something quite wonderful. This is, where is it? Watch City cigar, and these are Watch City slices. A really nice burley slice. This is about my fourth bowl. See if I can get one of these out and show it to you. But nice, thick, easily rubs out. Just really a fantastic burley blend. Been wanting to try this for a long time, and I finally pulled the trigger on it. So I want to get a few more bowls before I tell you too much about it, but it's nice. It's burly. It's a bulk burly slice, which I've been looking for a long time. Probably not as meaty as the H&H burly slices, and a little less sort of refined as the Solani, but a very good smoke so far. Yeah, Big Dave, it is a slice. It's a big one. Yeah, yes, Bona Piper, I kind of have to. Old Hollywood Briar, good to see you. George Tiedemann, how you doing tonight? Boris the Piper is having a bowl of Galwith's Best Brown. That's a fantastic blend. Wheeled Piper 2, No Name Briar Prince with Balkan Supreme. Pipe Tree, good to see you, buddy. So with the pipe, I'm having some beer, and it's not Miller, and it's not Yingling. Tonight it is, once again, this Oscar Blues Mama's Little Yellow Pills Mama Tried. I don't know which of those is the name, but they're all written on there. It's not bad. When I buy, you might have remembered I had this a few weeks back, and when I buy these craft beer 6-packs, I always get 2 of each, so I get to try them more than once. Harlow Piper smoking Lancer slices. Good choice, Harlow. Hello, Chuck. Good to see you. Yeah, Patrick, I'm enjoying the Oscar Blues. The Hat Piper, good to see you, buddy. So I got a couple things I wanted to mention. I don't normally do shout outs and such on the live streams, but I thought this one was pretty important. Some of you guys saw that Cliff Higgins was in the chat for a little while there, but he had to run. And Cliff got in touch today because I'm not going to get the details of this story right, but his mother-in-law and father-in-law were volunteering at a thing. I don't remember what it was, but and his mother-in-law took a spill and wound up breaking her hip. And this is bad in general, but it's particularly bad right now because of all the craziness that's going on in the world. So she was taken to the hospital, and the way Cliff described it was that she was just wheeled in, and they were not allowed to follow. So she was just taken away. She had to get surgery today, and Cliff said she's doing well, but she's probably not in a great state just because of the situation. Cliff's father-in-law is alone, and Cliff also pointed out that they have a German Shepherd named Kiki who has not been away from her for very long, ever. So these folks just need your kind thoughts and prayers over the next couple of days. And Cliff and his whole family. He's a great guy, great member of our community. Always reaches out and prays for us when we need it. So let's return the favor and just keep Cliff in your thoughts and your prayers. WKR Piper, you're having Solani aged barley flake right now? Take care, Cliff. Thanks, guys. It's always good to see this community come together when someone needs something like that. And it's not even necessarily a big thing. We certainly have come together in the past when someone had a physical tragedy and needed financial support or other things. But sometimes it's just knowing that people are thinking about you and caring about you can make all the difference in the world. So I was thinking of, for the past couple of these solo live streams, I've put out in the description that I was going to tell a story, and I've never actually gotten to it. But that's okay, it just gives me something to talk about in the future. Chuck, I don't think you meant what you wanted to type there. Or I don't think you wanted to type what you typed there. Hey, Jimmy Tabacchi, good to see you. But I'm glad you're enjoying it, Chuck. No hard feelings there. Just thought it was funny. So I was going to tell a fishing story. Anybody want to hear a fishing story? Hello, Ghost Cobb. Good to see you, buddy. Hey, Pipe Man. Good to see you. Yep, just in time for the fishing story. Go for it. Okay, Andrew. Pipeful. Good to see you. So, I used to fish a lot when I was very young, with my grandfather. So my grandfather owned a house in a place called West Wildwood, New Jersey, and this was, if any of you guys are familiar with New Jersey and the Jersey Shore, West Wildwood is this little island off to the side of Wildwood. Wildwood was a big resort town. It's a much bigger resort town now. But back then, it was a relatively quiet place, and this little sort of island was on a bay and was very, very quiet all summer long. And it was a great place to go every summer when I was growing up. My grandparents used to live there for the summer, and I got to live with them every year. So it's really a wonderful setup, for me at least. And we fished a lot. We used to fish and also crab. But it was all salt water, of course, in that area. And it's funny, I never freshwater fished until I was until I was a postdoc, actually. And now it's all I do. I haven't been saltwater fishing since I was a kid. But we fish saltwater quite a bit, usually for flounder, bluefish, things like that. And we were hobbyists, we didn't really know what we were doing. We weren't, super into it. We would just go to the bait shop and buy whatever people were using for bait at the time. And sometimes we'd go off a pier, sometimes we'd rent a boat. And we probably did this like once every other week, maybe a little more frequently sometimes, just to spend time with one another and to give my grandmom a break, I guess. Now the problem was we weren't very good at it. And I believe that in all the time that we fished together, and this is, starting when I was probably about 7, 8 years old, and probably the last time we fished together, I was maybe 20 or 21 years old. In all that time, every other week, all summer long, every year, I can remember catching exactly one fish. And I don't remember him ever catching a fish. So it was a flounder, I do remember that. But it wasn't about the fishing, it was about having the time together and sitting there and talking. And my grandfather was, he cared a lot about me and about my education and things like that. And I was telling Corvette Jim Piper last week that he used to always ask me, what did you learn today? And if I couldn't tell him something, I just had to think until I could think of something that I had learned. And he would talk to me about things like that, or about what I wanted to do when I grew up and those kinds of things. And the other stuff that you talk about when you're with your grandfather. Now, he was not a pipe smoker. He was not a smoker. In fact, he was actually very, very anti-smoking. All of his all of his kids? I think all of his kids smoked at some point cigarettes. Um, Only one of them was still smoking at this time. Uh, but my dad was a smoker. My mom. This is my mom's dad that I'm talking about. So he was not fond of smoking. He didn't really talk about the health aspects of it. He talked about the fact that it was a waste of money. You know, he used to tell me that you might as well just roll up a dollar bill and light it on fire. Um, and that was just his point of view, and I think he would have been okay with me today. I think he would understand some of the benefits. He'd be glad that I wasn't smoking cigarettes. But he was still alive when I started smoking cigars and later pipes, and I never told him about that. I hid it from him because I thought he would be very disappointed in me. You got that right, old Hollywood Briar. Not the same flavor. So, in all this time fishing, you know, sometimes it wasn't terribly expensive, but we had to buy bait, and occasionally we rented a boat, which was a bit more expensive, and it would kind of agitate my grandmother a bit. And my grandparents had one of these great relationships where they seemed to be constantly yelling at one another. They loved one another dearly. I was there when my grandfather passed away with my grandmother, and I saw the effect that had on her, and I know that she loved him more than anything else in life. Yet, if you knew them, you could never have told that because of the way they sort of sniped at one another, and yeah, it was just their way of showing affection. So she used to basically needle us about the fact that we hadn't ever brought home a fish. And you know, we did try, but it just never worked out. So we were planning to go one evening, and she got particularly persnickety about it. And my grandfather said, "We'll catch fish tomorrow, I guarantee it." And we went out, and we got skunked again. You know, we didn't catch anything. It would have been a miracle if we had. And we're going back to the car at the end of the day, and he said, "You know, we're gonna try something. We're gonna do something different." And we went to the grocery store. And I said, "Why are we going to the grocery store?" And he said, "You just keep your mouth shut and watch." So we went into the grocery store, and you can imagine what we bought. We bought some number of flounder fillets. I don't remember how many. He ordered however many and had them wrapped in paper. Took them out to the car, took off the sticker and the bag and got rid of that. I can kind of vaguely remember him like rumpling up the bag and taking it over to the trash can in the parking lot of the grocery store. And we went home, and he told my grandmother that we caught flounder. And you know, she was surprised, and he was pretty much blowing his horn over it. And you know, she said, "How did you catch flounder that were already filleted?" And he said, "Well, we filleted them at the dock. You know, I had my knife, and I didn't want to bring home all the mess for you, so I filleted them for you. And now you can cook them." And she said, "Oh, okay." And so we sit down to dinner, and he's happy as can be. My grandmother also seemed very happy. And we had flounder. She had breaded it and fried it. And I'm sure we had some side dishes. I don't remember what. And, you know, I just put everything on my plate, and we're just starting to eat, you know, first taste, and wow, this is really good. And my grandmother just very quietly says, "One of the fillets was frozen in the middle." So we got caught. And I would guess that he would have eventually come clean anyway. It was just a joke on her. And but he got caught before he could come clean himself. But I can still remember the look on his face when she said, one of the One of the fillets was frozen in the middle. Yeah, Chad, it would have been a lot harder to buy a moose. 100 different live fish. That's amazing, WKR Piper. Yeah, old Hollywood Briar. Grandma was not was not a pushover by any chance, by any stretch. Very cold water. Oh, you gonna do that to me, AA Pipe Man? Hey, West Virginia Grizzly and Couch. Good to see you guys. And Jimmy Digital. I can show you a CaneRod sometime, old Hollywood Briar. I don't have any down here. To go back to AA Pipe Man, what I learned today was that I'm smoking a lot more since I'm working from home, and I'm starting to wonder if this is going to be a problem when I go back to work. No, Battle Creek Briar. This was my mother's side of the family. They were German Irish. Um, my dad was the Italian. Is the Italian. Oh, Couch, you got the email notification. Did you actually sign up for the notification? Outdoor Smokesman 802, Salty Dogs. That's good stuff. I'm not a big Virginia fan, but that's one that I really enjoy. It's good to know, Couch. It seems like there was something going on last week, because like I said in my video on Wednesday, I wasn't getting notifications on my other channel, which is for woodworking and machining and stuff like that. So it wasn't just something specific um, to pipes or tobacco or anything like that. Wow, Everett, I would have liked to have seen that. That must have been quite a fight. Good to know, Pipes and Chores. Thanks. Same here, Chuck. Well, not my wife. My wife is actually Slovak, and that's an interesting people. But my mother was German and Irish, and my dad was Italian, actually from Sicily. Well, he's not from Sicily. His family was. Oh, Jimmy, I'm sorry, I don't actually have anything on the other channel. I just use it to subscribe to these other types of videos that I'm interested in. So that when I look at this channel, I'm just looking at pipe-related things. If I want to catch up on woodworking or machining, I log into this other channel, and that's what my subscriptions are for. So I don't have any content on the other channel. Ah, Couch, you are assuming wrong. I am actually smoking, and I'm proud of this because you would have been right most of the time. This is Watch City Cigar, Watch City Slices, the early slices. Geoffrey Feinberg, good to see you. Doing fine here. I've thought about it, old Hollywood Briar, and I don't know. I don't want to. I think if I had it would depend on what the project was. So I've been thinking about making a pipe cabinet, and if I do that, I might actually make it a video series for this channel. But if I'm just making, I don't know, birdhouse, I don't know how many folks would be interested in that. Christian, I'm embarrassed to say I do not know what that is. So I'm going to say no. She does not cook that. Yeah, PBR Street Gang. That's you can do mail order from them. And Everett, it's very good. It's not. It's a nice burley. It's not a super meaty burley like the H&H burley slices are, but I like it. And as a bulk burley slice, I think it's quite good. Is that a pipe smoking cabinet or a birdhouse, old Hollywood Briar? Oh, that's an interesting thought, Ben. Multi-tiered Lazy Susan pipe rack. I was thinking more of a wall cabinet type thing. No, WKR Piper, I haven't. In fact, this is the first Watch City blend that I've tried. Yeah, I knew I was teasing you, Hollywood Briar. Yeah, I will do the I'll do the pipe smoking cabinet sometime soon. Cogs and sprockets, no. I mean, in a sense, yes. So we know now that it's not going to be before April 30th. I'm guessing it's probably going to be a fair amount longer than that before we return to work. Hello, Dominic. Good to see you, buddy. Oh, Everett, that's not good. The extract, good to see you. I actually am reading, when I put this on Instagram the other night, I've started reading the first of the Earl Stanley Gardner Perry Mason books, which is called The Velvet Claw, I think. I'm a big fan of Perry Mason. I have not read any of Earl Stanley Gardner before, so I've been interested in giving this a try. So far, it's okay. Olive Woodpiper, you're here too. Both brothers are in. Good to see you both. Okay, Pipe Man, good to see you tonight. Well, Paul, we'll have to put a lock on the pipe smoking cabinet then. Yeah, I watched a bit of Mike Hammer, WKR Piper, but not a lot. No, Joffrey, actually business has slowed down quite a bit, and I'm guessing it's just because folks aren't interested in heading off to the post office right now. Hello, Bearded Piper, good to see you. Mike Hammer was Stacy Keach. Pipe cabinet that holds guns and fly rods. That would be a big cabinet. I don't usually work from plans, Bona Piper, but I can send you some pictures. H.H. Piper YTPC. How you doing, Ollie? I have one more to pipe that I got from Rick Black. It does sound like an addition more than a cabinet. It's a good one, Chad. One of the real nice things about these Watch City slices is they burn slow. And with a pipe this size, this may be the only pipe I need for this evening. So one of the things I've thought a lot about in terms of a pipe cabinet is how to actually fix the pipes in the cabinet. Now, if it's not going to be moved or anything, you don't need to necessarily have them firmly attached, but I don't like the where you got to put it in a hole and then get it lined up. It just never seems to be easy to take in and out. So I'm thinking about something where it just sits and leans. But I've also seen a lot of older pipe stands, really, that use a really simple process of just having the pipe sit in a in a hole. I don't know if you can see, my head's probably blocking it, but I have a pipe rack right up there that works that way, and I've used that for quite a while, and it's fine. The general worry about it is that the pipe is going to collect moisture, but it doesn't seem to really be an issue. Fishing rod clips, that worked well, Andrew? I've seen folks talking about that. Yeah, I remember that old Hollywood briar. It sort of had a you'd sort of put the pipe in and move it at an angle, and then it would sit. No, Battle Creek briar. The ones that I've made, and I have not made one in many years, so I feel bad even talking about it. But they're sort of standard fly rods. They're just made of bamboo, so they have the guides and everything on them. Oh, The Big Heat. That's a great one. Extract. That's a really good movie. Hello, Arkansas Mike. Yeah, I've seen some of those clips. I don't know. I'd like to have something that I could just cut into the wood and have it be one piece rather than have to attach clips and things like that. But I'm being picky. Everett, I'm pretty much a trout fisherman these days. Yeah, Andrew, that's the beauty of the bamboo rods is that you do have to slow down. I have both, and I probably use the composite carbon fiber rods the most. Oh, good to know, Pipeful. So the rod clips are padded. Hello there, Thargate. Hope all is well in Texas. Not any that you want to catch, West Virginia Grizzly. Paul Johnson, Crystal Palace tobacco. I'm not familiar with that. Has anyone else had Crystal Palace? Bearded Piper, I'd really rather not. I work in the pharmaceutical industry. I'm a research scientist, and I don't really like to go into it much more than that. Do you like that pipe rack, Harlow Piper? Because I'm really starting to think that that's the best design, assuming all the concerns about moisture are just sort of old wives' tales. So WKR Piper is very excited about this new McBaron blend. Yeah, the bearded piper. I get it. Yeah, and you can imagine why based on what I said. If you ever want to talk more, send me an email. We can chat. That is true, old Hollywood Briar. It does. Is there a lag in the audio? I can't tell, so you guys have to let me know if it's a problem. Good to know, Harlow Piper. It's probably something local, Joffrey. Yeah, it's these if you think about what's actually happening, and I promise not to explain it because I barely know it myself, it's remarkable that this technology even works. So that when we sometimes get lags and stuff, it's going to happen. Sounds like a nice pipe, Outdoor Smokesman. Yeah, Paul, I think we're all a little nuts right now. But that's one of the things that I hope we're helping with this kind of stuff. Just trying to be a bit normal. Cogs and Sprockets, I don't know. I do a lot with cherry because it's a local hardwood. So I might stick with cherry, maybe something else. I haven't decided yet. I mean, I guess walnut is probably a more classical choice, but I like cherry. Everett, you got to hold on to some of that amphora to mix with the haunted bookshop. Maple's another nice wood, certainly, Christian. But I'm with old Hollywood Briar on the cherry. I I, I just like using it. Mahogany to make a pipe. I don't know. It. I think mahogany burns fairly easy. It's a fairly porous wood as well. Open grain. Yeah, you got your your fair share of maple up there in Vermont. That's for sure. Yeah, pine. My dad lives up in northern Vermont, pretty close to the Canadian border, way up north, and he has an awful lot of birch on his property. Yeah, Bona Piper. That's the funny thing. So I work in cherry a lot because it's so cheap here, because it's grown locally. Yeah, it's not good if you have arthritis or if you're elderly for sure. I mean, he's 73, 74 now, and there's still snow to be shoveled and roofs to be cleared and yeah, Ben, Artful Codger, I agree. I love the smell of cherry sawdust, and a lot of people say it reminds them of a wet dog. Oh, that's interesting. Smoking Kentucky Piper. So do the cows actually eat the blossoms? Interesting. Horse fatalities as well. That's really interesting. Yes, Big Dave. The early ROPS at least were made from cherry wood, um, and that's at least the theory as to why the cherry wood shape is called that, because the cherry wood pipes were made from a particular type of branch off the cherry wood tree, and that shape has just come to be known as cherry wood because they were mostly made out of that wood. Synonid, huh. When I was doing my graduate work, I worked on a protozoa, and I will not bore you with the details, but our work was funded by the cattle industry, and the reason was that these little little pond cells had the same pigment in them as the plant St. John's wort. And what happens is cows eat St. John's wort, they apparently really love it. And then the pigment actually gets into their skin and it photosensitizes them, and they wind up getting really sick because of sunlight reacting with the pigment from the plant. And we were interested in how these little critters react to light, and they actually use this pigment the same way your eyes use opsins. Anyway, that's probably more information than you wanted to know, but I've always been interested in those things where, you know, the farm animals eat a particular plant and it leads to a sickness. Well, I have to agree with the Artful Codger. Nothing does smoke like a briar. Yeah, Chuck, that's one of the things I really love about cherry, but if it's, you know, in a situation where you just have sun hitting half of the piece of furniture, that's not a good thing. Yeah, ivies are generally not good, Paul. Sounds good, Smoking Kentucky Piper. I think we can always use another good cow story. Well, that's okay, the Artful Codger. I still agree with you. Well, I know does eat oats, and something else eats oats, and little lambs eat ivy. I can't remember what the something else is, though. I'm not going to sing it. David Brake. It's okay to go off topic, especially the topic we're currently on. Is pipe smoke easier to retrohale? It depends on the tobacco. Really depends on the tobacco and on the cigar. I've had cigars that I can retrohale with no issue, and other cigars that I just can't retrohale. The same with pipe tobaccos. A really heavy Perique blend is a not pleasant retrohale. Bears? No, it wasn't Bears Eat Oats, was it? Mares Eat Oats. That's it. Those eat oats and mares eat oats and little lambs eat ivy. Okay, Andrew gets pun of the night. The pun of the night award. Oh, wait a minute. Yardism's coming in with with another entry for pun of the night. But I recently found out you guys are in the presence of a master punster. Not me. I'll let him reveal himself. Kinley Divey too. The sad thing, Wheeled Piper too, and the other guys that are in on this, is that probably about 70% of the people watching have no idea why we're laughing at this. Hey, Corvette Jim Piper, welcome. No problem. Youngins, yep. Yeah, Thagger 8, that's a good point. I can actually retrohale by you morning, so it's not just the Perique. uh, I should have known, Artful Codger. I should have known. How'd the hunt go, Jim? So, like I said earlier, I really wanted to think of this as a little bit of normality for us, and I'd like to know if you guys are willing to share it or have any good ideas. What sort of things are you all doing to sort of keep that sense of normality in your lives? Um, we can't jump in the car and go somewhere. So uh, I mentioned earlier that I started reading that Perry Mason book, and that's been a nice sort of little guilty pleasure for me. I don't often get the time to read like that, but I have the time now, and it's actually quite comforting because it's something that I used to do all the time. Okay, Pipeful, you're back in first place. Yeah, Outdoor Smokesman, I've heard a lot of people are playing more video games these days. That's nice, old Hollywood Briar. I wish I could go fishing. It's apparently not allowed in Pennsylvania. Well, WKR Piper, I guess that's a strategy. That's a good idea, Patrick. Bicycling. We've been planning to take walks every day. It hasn't actually worked out quite that well, but hey, that's a skill that you got now, Corvette Jim. That's a good skill to have. Oh, that's great, Smoking Kentucky Piper. That's one of the things that I'm doing as well. Yeah, being able to come down here to the shop and work on pipes. It's just a little bit of normality. Bonsai trees. That's interesting, Harlow Piper. Very relaxing from what I've heard. You know, Guy Booty Piper, that's a really good point. I was thinking about that earlier today. I was talking to somebody on Instagram, and this, and I think the Artful Codger's hinting at it as well. A lot of what we're doing right now are the things that we would have been doing 20 years ago, even. Um, it's just we've gotten so used to other things. It's become so easy to have more exciting lives than we're used to. It's a great book, Thugger 8. And gardening, yeah. All right, Olive Wood Piper. Thanks for stopping in, Carl. Have a good night. Okay, old Hollywood Briar. Good to see you tonight. Have a good one. Well, folks, I have finally gotten to the bottom of my bowl here. So what is that? That was almost an hour straight. It is a large bowl pipe though, but those I really recommend these Watch City slices. I can't yet say that they're going to be a go-to for me, but so far I'm really liking them. And just the burn time on them is fantastic. So I'm going to switch to my Europe that I told you a couple weeks back. It got this little, what looked like the beginning of a burnout on the bottom, and it just is that the wall is just too thin there. So I put some pipe mortar in it, and it seems to be smoking just fine. Okay, David, thank you. Thank you for stopping in, and good luck with the plans. And I got out the, you guys can track how this is getting smaller each week. Ron Hardcrackers Ward, congratulations to her on that. I know how good that feeling is to ring that bell. And she's probably very glad that she doesn't have to go back to the hospital as frequently right now. You can be PBR Street Gang, but you're going to have to eventually let her out. Actually, I'm going to be in trouble for this. My wife has sort of locked me in the basement. She strongly suggested during the first week of working from home that it would be a good idea for me to not work in the family room, and talked about how much better it would be for me if I would work down in the basement because I'd be in my workshop, and you know, it was just obvious that I was interrupting her routine a little bit too much. Hey, Full Smoking Bar, good to see you, Nick. Oh, that must be nice, Chuck. Yeah, I've been locked down, literally, Chris. Me too, Guy. Me too. But in all honesty, Guy, I don't think he could have smoked a lot more. He smoked a lot. Thanks, Bona Piper. It's good to be a member. So I'm trying to remember a thing I heard the other day that you'll probably think is funny. A guy said that this whole pandemic thing is really, you know, it's wearing on everyone, but he thinks it's really particularly wearing on his wife. You know, it's really stressing her out and causing her a lot of trouble. And he was watching her the other day, standing at the living room window, just gazing through the window and crying. And he thought to himself, maybe I should let her in. All right, Dominic, good to see you tonight. Oh, Ron, that's great. Hey, Piano Piper, I actually have told you it's held up great, and it's actually the same stuff that I used in this pipe recently. It's called pipe mortar, and I have a video on it. Um, so if you look, I don't know, it's probably in one of my playlists, like under the pipe maintenance playlist. Yeah, tunnel take, that's kind of the way I feel too. Corvette Jim, that's an apt analogy. I do have to do an ergonomic assessment in my basement office, though, because this chair that I'm sitting on, in addition to being very squeaky, is just not the right height, and it's taking its toll on my back. Good stuff, Mike Clark. You have a safe and healthy weekend, too. That's funny, Pipeful. An album you can listen to over and over. Desert Pine Piper's asking. Hey, Luke Reisner, good to see you, buddy. Trying to think of the name of an album. Maybe one of you guys can help me out because I cannot remember the name of this, but it's a live Thelonious Monk, and it's the one that Coltrane is on. And it might just be something like Thelonious Monk Live with John Coltrane or something like that, but it's really a fantastic jazz album. I could listen to that thing all day. Full smoking bar. Yeah, there's plenty of time to clean them. WKR Piper is not seeing Luke Reisner's comments. That's odd. I'm seeing them. Yeah, Guy Booty Piper, I love good jazz. Thanks, Meerschaum Mountaineer. Hope you're doing well too. Might have been Wheeled Piper. Might have been. No, it wasn't Monk with a gun. It might have been Carnegie. Portsmouth Piper, I do the deep clean I don't know, probably every couple of months is what I'd like to do. The truth is, it's probably more like every 6 months. When I need it, I guess, is the answer. And I can tell. I mean, I know when a pipe's not smoking right. You just kind of get used to what it's supposed to smoke like, and then it'll just be off. Does he have an album, Paul? Ah, Spotify. That I was going to say that's cheating, but it's probably what I would have done too. Avashai Cohen, bass player, Israel. I'll have to look into that guy. Hey Ross, good to see you. Black Bayou Mist, sounds good. Take care, Paul. Thanks for stopping in. I'll definitely look for that guy. Trying to remember the name of an Israeli jazz group that I saw several years ago. It was a really interesting group. They had a lot of drums that they just drums that individuals would carry and they'd play. That's a good point, the extract. That's a really good point. Oh, Django was, man, that's another one that I could probably listen to all day. He just had an amazing skill. And when you realize that he didn't even have all his fingers, it's amazing. Tatran? The, I think the last the group that I'm trying to think of, the Israeli group, had a two word name, and I think the second word was marcham. It might have been like dance marcham. No, Fragrant. It wasn't. It wasn't Joshua Jericho. He was blowing a horn. Yamana. No. No, I've got a CD of theirs upstairs. I'll find it and I'll let you know next time. But I'm definitely listening to more music now than I was a few weeks ago, and that's a good thing. Roland Kirk. Have a good one, Luke. Thanks for stopping in. Take care of yourself. Dexter Gordon. I think, Guy, it's ringing a dim bell, but I can't place it. Okay. Yeah, it's more familiar now, Guy. Oh, Dallas. You're a good dad for doing it. Eric Clapton, yeah. He, I didn't like him in his later career, but some of his early stuff, And certainly whenever he was playing blues was really nice. Well, Ben, I don't think we're ever going to fight over jazz albums then. Hey Everett, you too. Take care. Take Five is an incredible piece. I got to see Brubeck live the last time he played at the Montreal Jazz Festival. He died the next year. Actually had tickets to see him in Philadelphia, and he passed away like a month before the show. He was something special. Rafiq Manji from India. Good to see you, my friend. Don't worry about joining late. We're glad to have you. Indeed, Bonapiper. It would not be the same. Bill Bergman, Midnight Sax, 1986. Yeah, Piano Piper, I'm with you on a lot of that. I was talking earlier about spending the summers with my grandparents, and my grandfather loved that music. We used to listen to it all the time, and it just got into me. So it's what I like to listen to now as well. Yeah, Brubeck put together quite a few good musicians in his day. Maynard Ferguson. Haven't thought about him in a long time. Any of you guys Louis Prima fans? Chuck Mangione, yeah. Another one I haven't thought of in quite a while. Louis Prima. He was trying to think of what his big. Somebody mentioned swing, and it reminded me of Jumpin' Jivin'. That was him. It was pretty popular about maybe 8 years ago. There was this revival of swing music. Battle Creek Briar, Suprema fan, yeah. 80s skater rock. There you go, Jim. Peggy Lee. Louis Prima actually was one of the voices in the original Jungle Book by Disney. And that was probably my first introduction to jazz music when I was quite a little kid. Louis Prima, I believe, played with Louis Prima a few times. I think you're right about that, Battle Creek Briar. I don't understand it, but it sounds like it would have to be true. Pipes and Bees, how you doing, buddy? Raymond Scott. Well, this is good. If we ever have that big party that we've all have imagined having, where we all get together, we'll know what music to play, and it sounds like we won't have too much disagreement on it. And I know Fats Domino. I'm not sure about King's Record. What character did he play? I think it was King Louis. I think so. It's been a long time since I've seen Jungle Book. Harry James. Have a good one, Pipe Tree. Thanks for stopping in, my friend. It was King Louis. Thanks, Christian. Gunfighter Western stuff like Marty Robbins. Yeah, that's good. I enjoy that. Bill Withers. Yeah, he passed away today. And I have to admit, I had to look up the name, but as soon as I saw what he had done, I knew exactly who he was. So far, so good, Couch. Now, no need to apologize, buddy. Battle of New Orleans. That was a classic. Christian, I think with this group we're safe. Let's hope. Oh, that must have been a cool experience, Corvette Jim. Charlie Daniels, man. Got that out, Ben. Merle, Willie, Wellen, and Cash, yeah. Dallas, you a Highwayman fan? Hello, R.L. Rosenbaum. Good to see you. Oh, that's interesting, Chuck. I did not know that Wynton Marsalis and Eric Clapton collaborated. Oh, that's really cool, Portsmouth Piper. I really enjoy bluegrass. Used to listen to a lot of it. Yeah, Ben is singing. It's Christian's fault, but that doesn't really get Ben off the hook. Hey, Josh Langevin, good to see you. Oh, it was the WKRP theme, of course. Arlo Piper, good night. Thanks for stopping in. Oh, Portsmouth Piper, I'd love that. Things in PA are fine, Josh. I think it's pretty much the way it is everywhere right now. We're quarantined and trying to just get by. But everyone in my circle is healthy, so we're thankful for that. So we got a few minutes till 9:30. I don't want to stay on later than that, but this has been very, very entertaining. So I appreciate you guys coming out and giving me a few laughs. I'm going to, this little shop pipe, little Prince is going to get some haunted bookshop in it for the last bit here. And I just wanted to let everyone know that next week there will not be one of these live streams, unfortunately. It's Good Friday, and I just didn't want to do a live stream on Good Friday. So we'll be back the following week with a guest, and that guest will be the Artful Codger. So I hope you guys will tune in for that. Ben certainly needs the support. He's got some self-esteem issues, and we want to keep him happy. Take care, South Jersey Piper. Thanks for coming on. I'm just teasing you, Ben. You don't have self-esteem issues. But I tell everyone if they don't watch the solo live streams, I'll cry. So, it seemed only fair. No, Cogs, next week there's not going to be a live stream for the Good Friday Easter holiday. The week after that will be Ben, the Artful Conjurer. You stay safe too, Guy Booty Piper, and take care. No, Christian, next week there's not going to be a live stream. The week after. Okay. In case you're going to be wondering what I'll be doing after I sign off, I'm going to open up a email. Now, Ben, just so we set expectations, it's not just going to be what do you smoke. We're going to get to know the guy behind the smoke. Not a bad idea, Ralphie 88. I should sell tickets and kind of capitalize on Ben's popularity. Paul, we're going to have fun. I'm not worried about that. It is a fantastic beer, Josh. That's what I'm working on, Christian. I'm trying to forget about the confinement. We'll see how it goes. If folks want to stick around and Ben wants to stick around, I'll go as well until I fall asleep. Which, believe me, it's not much after I turn the feed off. Hot Wings 326, how you doing? We'll work on it, Ralphie. And Couch, that's a good point. If Ben's going to be singing, we should all come up with requests. I assume you're going to take requests, Ben. Yeah, Josh. When I visit my dad up in Vermont, I always enjoy some of the craft beers up there. There are some good ones. Wheeled Piper, that's probably a good request. Oh, that's great, Josh. Hill Farmstead Brewery. I don't know if I've had anything from there. Sounds fair, Ben. Sounds fair. But of course, the host can opt out of that. It's good to hear, Chuck. UPMC thinks they have a vaccine. JMZ 56, I I appreciate the thought, but I think Ben will bring in enough enough viewers that I won't need a sponsor. Hey, Monty 53. We're going to be a few more minutes, but it's good to see you. I'll look for that, Josh, next time I'm up in Vermont. Yeah, the Portsmouth Piper. We've been seeing an explosion of craft breweries here as well. They just seem to be popping up like crazy, and some of them don't last long. Paul, you're going to have to ask him really nicely. Poor Ben. Ben, I apologize. You know we all love you. Josh, you familiar with Eden, Vermont? It's about an hour north of Stowe. Okay, so then you know the area he lives in. Not the best place to be in the wintertime. Yeah, having beer delivered to your door. There's drive-through whiskey drop-offs here. It's very strange, and I'm wondering how much of this stuff is going to go away. Josh, actually, when that's really interesting. So Milton, when my parents first moved to Vermont, they lived in Milton for about a year, while they were looking for a house. They rented a house for about a year. So I'm familiar with that area as well. If you're interested, next time I head up there, we could maybe meet up somewhere. Have a few of those Vermont beers. All right, let's do it, Josh. That sounds like it'll be fun. Yeah, Nick, I agree. There's a lot of these stupid liquor laws, and they're really in place because they make money for the state. I hate to say that, but it's true. And I'm wondering how much. I do think it's important to keep looking for silver linings in all this, and I wonder if that might be one of the silver linings is that we're going to see a lot of these things stay after this is all over, and we can have a more normal approach to alcohol. Bourbon is 5 minutes late. Do they have a 20 minutes or it's free deal with the bourbon, WKR Piper? Okay, Josh, and you can get in touch with me, CaneRodPiper@gmail.com. Indiana sells no cold beer. That's amazing. Yeah, Dallas, I don't know. I mean, that certainly is a concern, but it's hard to imagine it happening. It would put so many companies out of business. I mean, we know at least, and I don't want to get into politics, but at least the current administration is not in favor of that. Hey, Piano Piper, you have a great night too. Thanks for stopping in. Well, it's not surprising, Josh. What else is there to do? Would you call that an apple, Ben? I'm terrible at pipe shapes. Shouldn't shouldn't admit that given what I do, but I was thinking more of a prince, but you might be right. Okay, I'll call it an apple from now on. You'll notice it's quite straight, Ben. Oh, Prince is Ben. Okay. I need to get myself a chart that I can look at before I say stupid things about pipe shapes. Um, it is a haunted bookshop couch. I switched to that after the Watch City slices, and that's what I've been smoking ever since. Divorce lawyers are having their day too. I wonder about that. I'm sure that there's a lot of couples that are on the verge of breaking up because they're spending so much more time with one another. But at the same time, where are you going to go? A straight Prince pot apple. Okay, that simplifies it. I'm liking the Watch City, Nick. I'm really liking it. What I said earlier was that it's not as refined as the Solani burley slices, and it's not as meaty as the H&H burley slices, but it's definitely good. It's got a little bit of a top note that they add, but not anything that you notice after the initial light, and it's just a good solid burley. Yeah, there probably will be quite a baby boom in 9 months. And that's been shown even after like long blackouts. There's 9 months later, there's a big spike in births. Isn't her tasers? That's not nice, Dallas. uh, that's good to know, Ben. Watch City out Penzance with Ahab's comfort. It's not my thing, but I know a lot of people really like Penzance. So, and I love Watch City is open for mail order, and I think it's important to support these places that are doing mail order so that they can stay open because they're going to have trouble, paying their rent and everything else since they had to close the storefront. Ain't that the truth, Pipes and Bees? Oh, I didn't see that full smoking bar. that's that's unfortunate. Tenkyo Kimura, I have not tried that particular Daughters in Ryan blend, but I haven't been impressed with a lot of Daughters in Ryan stuff. So it's interesting you say that. I'll put that on the list to give a try. I'm only following and being very careful not to comment on some of what's going on right now. A lot of people have trouble with Virginia's 2A firefighter. Um, and I think English blends probably teach you to puff a bit more slowly. You get a lot more flavor with each puff. So it may just be that. Ah, good to know, WKR Piper. I'm sure they need the business. Yeah, pipes and bees. That's kind of the thought that I have as well. It seems like roll your own tobacco, very fine cut, good quality, dry, burns very fast. So I haven't been a big fan of theirs. But it is true that the guy that's behind that, and I think his name is Mark Ryan, uh, is the guy that is single-handedly responsible for saving Perique. He bought up the farms that were growing the tobacco that's used in making Perique, and basically saved it from extinction. So that, we owe him that. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, there's only one producer of Perique, at least in the U.S. And interestingly, there is one, and I might have this wrong, so don't take this as gospel, but there is a certain type of Perique that he only sells to American Indians, Native Americans, and it's used in their tobacco blends, and it's not possible to buy it unless you are a Native American. Yeah, that might be it. Takeo Kimura. It might be a St. James versus Acadian thing, and I don't know which of those is the one that Native Americans use, but I think I learned all this from a podcast. What is it? The Pipes Magazine podcast, I think it's called, the Brian Levine one. He interviewed Mark Ryan, and this is probably 5 years ago. But if you're interested in Perique, it's worth looking that interview up and listening to it. And speaking of podcasts, I had the privilege of being interviewed for the Pipe and Tamper podcast, and I found out yesterday that episode is going to go live on the 15th of this month. So I'll give you some reminders when the time comes around, but it was recorded quite a while back, and I don't honestly even remember what we talked about, but I remember it was a good time. Well, folks, I said I was going to get off about 15 minutes ago, so I should probably try to be a little bit sensitive to the time. And my wife is probably wondering what happened to me. So I will go emerge from the basement and let her know that I'm doing fine. So guys, thanks again. Really appreciate it. Remember, no live stream next week, but the following week we will have Ben the Artful Codger on, and that's going to be a lot of fun, I'm sure. Thanks for just taking this opportunity to have a little bit of normalcy in our lives and just come together as friends and share a pipe. I really appreciate it. So you all take care. I'll see you Sunday, and be good to one another and stay safe. Bye now.